from my compound in beautiful Gig Harbor, Washington. From the Pacific to Atlantic to you worldwide. Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. This is Gary at Night Dreams Talk Radio. Tonight we got a round table talking about UFOs, Mothman, Bigfoot. Get yourself a nice, comfy chair to settle in next to that toasty fireplace. Get yourself something nice and hot to drink. And let's go for a ride in the paranormal.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
This is Night Dreams Talk Radio Network News. I'm James Creechbaum. For all the truckers out there on the roads, here's a little bit of weather for you. On the West Coast, into Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, there's going to be a mix of rain and a little bit of snow and sleet. Southern California, chance of rain and thunderstorms all the way into Arizona. Now you get into Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. From there all the way over into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and the southern states and the middle states, it's going to be rain, thunderstorm, and heavy rains. Into the East Coast, more rain and a mix up into northern New England, and a mix also into the upper peninsula of Michigan. Now, with the southern states, there is an isolated severe storms in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, and that's going to be effect for this afternoon into this evening because a cold front is sweeping through the Mississippi Valley, and it will bring a chance for showers and storms in the area of the Ozark Plateau. Isolated severe threat for large hail and damaging winds as well. There will also be a chance for some rotation within today's storms into this evening, so an isolated tornado can't be ruled out. Coronavirus. Ohio declares a state of emergency due to the coronavirus. Ohio today has declared a state of emergency over coronavirus concerns. Governor Mike DeWine tweeted. The declaration comes after 3 people in his state tested positive for the coronavirus. New York City mayor says 24 people are in mandatory quarantine. There are now 24 people in mandatory quarantine and 2,019 in voluntary isolation across New York City, according to the mayor. Coronavirus cases is over 111,000. There are about 564 confirmed coronavirus cases in the U.S., with 136 of those in Washington State and 124 in California. There is also a 26 coronavirus deaths in the U.S., 19 of which were in Washington and 2 in Florida. The Grand Princess cruise ship holding 3,500 people with 21 who have tested positive for the coronavirus. It was to dock today in Oakland, California. Italy's prime minister announced Sunday a lockdown of some 16 million residents in the northern part of the country. The U.S. death toll has risen to 26, and several members of Congress are in self-quarantine after possible exposure. Wall Street is reeling, and millions of Americans are worried after the worst day on Wall Street since the 2008 financial crisis. The Dow fell more than 2,000, close to 8%, based largely on concerns over the coronavirus. The federal government scrambled to minimize the economic fallout from the spreading coronavirus as financial markets fell off a cliff on Monday. President Trump convened his top economic advisors in Washington, and the Republican chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, signaling a willingness to provide tax relief to soften the blow. Mayor cancels St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston. Los Angeles County announces first possible case of a community transmission. And again, Trump and top advisors scrambled to contain economic impact. If you have a news story you want us to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio, contact us at jamesnightdreamstalkradionews@gmail.com.
You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
And that is me. I hope everybody is having a great day. Like I've been telling people, I've been saying this could happen, and it's happening now. But people are panicking. It's crazy. You go to any, like Target, Costco, any of the major grocery stores, people are buying, rubbing alcohol, bottled water, toilet paper, and disinfectants, cold medicine, aspirins. Even some of these pharmacies are sold out of all cold medicine and aspirins. People are panicking. Don't panic, okay? Wash your hands, more than you normally do. Keep your face clean. And, if you go out, carry some diaper wipes. And what I did for my wife, where she works at, because she's constantly touching computers all day long that other people touch, I immersed the packet by pouring in quite a bit of rubbing alcohol, just for she could wipe her hands off, and wipe the equipment down with alcohol. Just be careful, and again, if you have any health issues, then maybe you should stay in the house for a while and maybe have somebody bring you your groceries and stuff like that. Don't get around where you can get around other people. But I think within the next 6 weeks or so, this will probably make its peak and then start dropping off quite, fast. But, again, who am I other than a talk show host? But you know what? Don't panic. The worst thing you can do is panic. People are worried about going in a recession. And I'm at the age when I have been around a couple of recessions, bad ones. One in the 80s, the stock market took a big dump. People were panicking. They quit spending money. What I'm hearing now from some friends of mine that own small businesses, it's a ghost town. They're freaking out. One person owns a restaurant. Nobody's coming in to buy, a dinner for them and their wives because they're scared to go. I mean, that is going to hurt our economy. A tax cut, if that even happens, because it's up to the Senate and the Congress to pass it. You can sit there and say, I want it, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And let's face it, a tax cut of like a few bucks each paycheck isn't going to spur the economy. The last tax cut here a year ago was a joke. People end up having to pay back a lot of it when they had to do their taxes. But the thing is, it didn't really spur the economy because, let's face it, the average person's seen maybe $20, $30 on a paycheck. That's not going to really help the economy this time. The economy is going to slow down. What's going on between the Saudis and Russia? Here's my feeling. Putin just sat there and waited for something good to happen. Good for him. What's going on right now is he's not just trying to starve out these Saudis on oil. He knows what position we could be in really quick. He knows how our stock market works. The best thing he could do is what he did. Lower the price of oil, pump out as much oil as you humanly can pump out, and that will cause the stock market to take a dive, which it did, and I expect it to keep diving all week long. And people panicking right now. Yeah, the good nature is you might save on gas, buying gas, but if you're not going to work, because a lot of companies, including Boeing Aircraft up here in Washington State, a lot of companies are telling their employees, go home. We can't use you because the risk is so high. And if you can operate and do your thing, by a computer online, do it. But, I mean, it's going to get scary here before it gets better. Anyway, getting into the wacky news, because I think we need something good today. A man wins, when it's perfect time, $30,000 twice on a lottery game bought at the same store like 2 weeks apart. I mean, hey, what can I say? And a family, just before this whole thing with the virus went out of control, accidentally ordered online $2,153 worth of toilet paper. Perfect timing, isn't it?
Yeah, that was perfect timing. Geez, yeah, they should go buy one of them lottery tickets too. That is, their luck is shining.
Well, I'm talking about the toilet paper.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're lucky. Their timing was perfect.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you could probably get, when it's a shortage on it, you know, you can't go out and buy newspapers anymore. What are you going to go out and buy gift wrapping? Anyway, that might be interesting. Try flushing gift wrapping down the toilet. Record-breaking tooth pulled out by a dentist in India. A guy goes in, a student at the local, college, complaining that his jaw and his mouth was hurting. Well, when the dentist went to pull the tooth out, he was shocked. It was like 2.5 times the size of a normal tooth in length. I wonder why his mouth was infected, why it was hurting. God, it could have just grown right out and who knows where in them. And
yeah, I seen that pic. That was an incredible tooth. My goodness, he must have had to stand on that guy's chest to pull that out.
Oh, yeah, and surprised it didn't break coming out. Well, there was a reported lion loose, and the police were called in Spain because they were worried about this lion running around. Well, it turned out not to be a lion. It was somebody that took their dog, had it groomed, shaved, and everything to look like a lion, and it looked like a lion. Interesting.
I've seen somebody do that a couple of times. I'll tell you, some of the people that can do that, it's amazing. They look just like a lion. I seen one look like a cheetah, another one looked like a tiger or something. But it was amazing.
Well, a guy in Canada won, you ready for this? A lottery. He said that it was sitting on his table for like 6 months. He didn't even look at it. And then he just kind of looked at it and scratched off of it and found out it was 744,845 smackers.
Wow. Imagine all the interest that could have drew for 6 months sitting there. But, some people are just blessed. It's amazing it didn't accidentally get thrown in the garbage or somebody else pick it up or anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, we'll be back in about 1 minute. We'll have Ryan on. We're going to be doing a round table tonight. I'm going to start off first talking about my encounter with a friend of mine who was a medical doctor about what we saw in the Canadian Rockies right after this.
Roof of Broadcasting Building. I'm speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchison River Parkway is still kept open for motor traffic. Floyd bridges to Long Island hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago.
And wouldn't that be scary if that happened today, but only realistically? Anyway, we have James on. We have Ryan. Ryan does once a week he comes on and talks about UFOs. But as of this Thursday, he's going to talk about UFOs and cryptics. And then James is our news director here on Night Dreams Talk Radio. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. How you doing? How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. Good, sir. How you doing?
Well, we're doing good. Other than if you're looking for toilet paper around here, you won't find any. My wife actually scored 2 packages here the other day. And I'll tell you what, it's not the type you can use with a septic system, but at this point, it's better than using sandpaper.